Just the experience of it, like placement obviously adds to your CV, and just the Erasmus then is your fun treat afterwards, and you get to see things and meet people.
It's always been a thing I wanted to do. I've always loved to travel, and it always it came to my mind that I wanted to meet people abroad, be in a different country, see what the teachings are like there.
I always wanted to live abroad. I knew it was something I wanted to do in the future. And I feel like Erasmus provided a really good opportunity to step out by yourself, but also in a sheltered, kind of safe environment like the student life. I got the opportunity to do that while my home university in Ireland were looking out for me. I had a university there checking in if I was okay.
We had the option of going on Erasmus or going on a placement, and I felt like if I'm going to be working for the next 40 years anyway, I may as well do the once in a lifetime opportunity of Erasmus.
Erasmus for our course in biomedical science in NUIG is actually a competitive process, so I did know about the process before I even went into first year of biomedical science. I knew that it was something I wanted to aim for and something I wanted to do.
I didn't really have a choice because my course, you have to go on Erasmus, but I guess before I'd even applied for college, I think I always knew that I wanted to.
So it was part of my course to go somewhere abroad, which I was really excited about, and was one of the reasons why I picked my course.
It was definitely like a shock to be so far away from home, and it was such a different experience than being so far away from home. Like, I was shocked that I felt as lonely as I did. So it wasn't to the extent that it was crippling, but it just was something that was present, and you have to acknowledge it if you're feeling something like that.
The registration process was a bit difficult because it's kind of make sure that the timetable is in class for the exams as well as for the actual timetable during the year.
I did feel a bit homesick at the beginning, but because of the distractions and all the things to explore and sightsee and do, I definitely found other things to keep my mind occupied.
So many events that cater specifically for Erasmus students, so it's kind of hard to be alone or to be in a position where you feel like you have no friends. So I would say that I didn't really feel homesick until the end when I had to go home because of COVID.
It's a big thing that a lot of people deal with on Erasmus, and it is tough to get used to. But I think it's just really important to have connection to home and have small rituals maybe that might comfort you, because you're gonna get a culture shock even if you don't expect it.
Beginning, like the few days before I was going to France, I was like in complete doubt. I was like, why did I decide to do this? I'm gonna be so lonely, it's gonna be awful, I would rather stay at home. And I just knew I'd be completely out of my comfort zone, so I was definitely really anxious. And
I got a chance to learn Dutch while I was there. I thought everyone would speak English, like going over there initially. Obviously I was studying through English. It was a huge international town, so I knew everyone would speak English, so it hadn't crossed my mind about a language. Now whenever I went there and everyone around me was speaking Dutch all the time, I kind of hit me. I was like, right, like this is, I felt like such a foreigner. That was such a big thing. I was like,
so there actually was very little leeway if you didn't know Swedish. So like all the signposts were in Swedish, all the shops were in Swedish, all like the items on the shelves, it was all Swedish. There wasn't really any English at all. They're very like stuck on their language. So we did kind of have to learn some words, but it was pretty basic.
When it came to choosing where to go, I really wanted to go to France because I studied French in secondary school and did it for my Leaving Cert, and I actually did quite well.
Yeah, no, it kind of defined my experience, to be fair. And I was lucky at least that like everything from my host university went online. So I was able to finish the semester there and get my credits for that, but it wasn't the fun experience it should have been.
Yes, unfortunately, due to COVID, we were actually sent home halfway through our Erasmus experience. So all my kind of stuff was hands-on. That meant that I had to like stop my project before it was finished.
So I had to come home during the pandemic and kind of cut my time abroad there short, even though my studies continued online. Just living there and having that whole life was completely finished. It just kind of happened all of a sudden.
Yes, it did. As with a lot of Erasmus students, we were due to leave much later, but because of COVID, we all had to pack up within 24 hours and get the last flight out of, for me, it was France, and leave behind a lot of the things we had because we just didn't have time to bring anything.
Yes, like all the rest of the people, it impacted me as well. So I was supposed to be there until June. I ended up coming home the day after St. Patrick's Day. So
It did. I think it affected everyone. I had to come back about 2.5 months early, I think.
The pandemic did impact it and it didn't at the same time. So lucky for me, my semester started early, so around the 6th of January. So I got a good 9 weeks, before the pandemic hit. And as well as that, my assignments were all online, not online, all continuous. So
travel in my head is such a terrifying thing that was inaccessible. Like you had to be really confident and, you know, capable of actually doing it. But like it was so easy. Like I can't get over how seamlessly I flew from like Dublin to there and then got to the small town in the middle of nowhere.
So when I was doing Erasmus, it was a research and development internship. I always thought I wouldn't like R&D. I did the labs in college. It's kind of, you know, going fast, get it done, leave. And I definitely would like to work abroad in R&D and actually looking at doing a master's abroad in that area. So it was a really fantastic experience and opened my eyes a lot.
So after living in that and experiencing that, I decided that I'd want to live in the Netherlands because it's quite similar to Belgium in its culture, but it's just a different country. I feel like now I kind of want to go to another country. So I've gone to Amsterdam. I looked at a course there in global environmental governance. So I'm hoping to go on and do my master's in Amsterdam once I'm finished, final year in Galway.
I know now that I definitely want to find a job that travels internationally. However, I also realise that I'm very happy at home in Ireland and I don't think I'll move abroad for a long period of time in the future.
And I'm actually thinking of going back to Sweden in the future for maybe doing some PhD studies or maybe some other European city. Or
I guess it's going to open up the world that I could work abroad. I'm not sure if I'd work in Spain because I'm not sure if my Spanish would be that good.
I definitely would consider working abroad or even doing more traveling abroad after this year experience.
I definitely think that I feel like much more of a European citizen. I find the fact that we're from Ireland and being an island is kind of more isolating. We refer to Europe as if it's a foreign place when we're, you know, in the EU and stuff.
I was interacting with a lot of other like Europeans, internationals from all different parts, and you kind of realize everyone's really, really different in these countries. But the thing everyone has in common is that they are European. So it's kind of just looking at that and seeing the diversity is like this huge, big circle of Europe, and within that is just the diversity. So I feel like I felt more of a part of it in the difference.
We were actually in a corridor with people that were only from other countries, so there was no other Irish people in our corridor, which was so nice. So we started doing these like dinner evenings every single Sunday. So someone would cook a dinner that was based on the cuisine of their own country, and we do that every Sunday. So we got to taste like everyone's say national cuisine. In a way, yeah, you do feel more European, or at least, you know, more integrated in or more in touch with how other people live.
I think I'd just dive more into things head first because, like, obviously with the COVID situation, it kind of showed us that you can't plan it ahead and take things for granted. So I would just in future like kind of go all in straight away as soon as I can.
I would potentially try and get a longer internship or Erasmus.
I don't think I would. One of the things I think from the very, very beginning, I feel like I was involving myself in activities as much as I possibly could, and I was like chatting to people, but I also was kind of hard on myself that I wasn't like forming really close relationships quickly. So I feel like just not be as hard on myself at the start.
I found out from other students that they had the opportunity to do semester 1 in one country and semester 2 in another country, and if I could do it again, I would do that as well.
I would say that I regret maybe not mixing more with the actual Swedes. They are a little, maybe they're a little bit harder to approach.
Probably just to not worry about costs of things and just kind of do as much stuff as you can. Like if there's a trip to go somewhere, that even if you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm bothered going there, just go on it because you'll probably have fun no matter what.
Well, to be honest, if I had known the pandemic was going to hit, I would have done more traveling at the start.
I'd say definitely just make sure you have enough money saved, like, and as well just with the language, I'd say definitely try and pick up a few phrases. Like I tried, but I wasn't confident with them.
I think definitely apply early and apply to as many as you can, because you might not get your first choice. Doesn't mean that it's bad at all. And once you find out where you're going, have the savings ready to go, because when you're in a foreign country, there's amazing events going on, trips the weekend, everything, and it's brilliant to make friends, but obviously that's going to cost a lot of money and you won't be able to work.
I think the biggest tip probably is savings if you can at all. Even though like you have the Erasmus grant, which kind of it's all you really need, but just to have that freedom to go and travel and just to explore.
Definitely start saving. Erasmus is expensive. There is a lot of upfront things you'll have to buy. Definitely ask for accommodation on your university. What do you have to bring with you, or what do you have to buy there? Expect to have to start from scratch, that your apartment, that your student accommodation won't have anything there, and that you will have to pop into IKEA and splurge on everything.
Well, if you're only considering it, then it wouldn't be a consideration. Definitely do it. Or if it's competitive, like we had to go through, definitely go for it, because you'd only look back and wish that you did. Go with an open mind. Just be open to the new culture, also meeting new people. So not even people from the country that you're going to, but other people from other countries.
I guess maybe you have a research into the place that you could possibly go to, just so you can find the best place that suits you. Make sure that it's like easily accessible, that there's things about like transport to it and stuff like that. The cost of living, you try get a friend to go to the same place as you, because it's good to have someone that you know there for the start, for sure.
So for anyone who's looking to go, I definitely would do it. It's the best thing ever. And even before I left, I was so nervous and anxious, but you definitely, when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, you always grow and you become better and stronger, and you'll want to do it again. If you do go, just be as outgoing as you can and talk to people. And at the start I held back from talking to some of the other students just out of nervousness, and then once you break the ice, you actually become like best friends. Like definitely just mix with people, because everyone's in the same boat, nervous.
I'd say definitely interesting. You know, it was a lot different from college in Ireland, like, so there was that. It was very exciting, just fun. Like, would definitely do it again. Wish I could go back.
I would say life-changing, because I met so many friends that I'm actually still friends with, even though we've been separated. And I've learned that I actually really enjoy research and development. And if I didn't do Erasmus, I think I would have been afraid of R&D. I would say skill building, because you're thrown into a foreign country where you're, by yourself or with only one other person. So it's, forces you to be more outgoing and make friends and be more social. And the phrase once in a lifetime, because Erasmus is a program that's been going on for maybe the past 20 or 30, 40 years. And you can only do it once in your schooling term. There's funding available. It's such a great experience. And I think employers really look at your CV and think, wow, this person's independent, they're risk takers, they're hardworking because they had to go to a different country and had to change up and make things work. So I definitely think it's once in a lifetime.
I think primary number one is liberating in every sense of the word, in every possible way, just completely liberating. Number two, enlightening. Such an eye-opening experience, and you learn so much in every way. And number three, joyful. I think it was just such a really happy time, and everyone was just in this place of happiness and excitement to be there, and to be surrounded by that energy was really joyful.
Maturing, adventurous, and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Jam-packed, enriching, and advantageous, extremely advantageous. Like, such a good experience. I can't make the last one into one word. Just if you have the opportunity to do it, absolutely do it.
Chilled. A lot of drinking. And I don't know, I guess fun, but I'd say everyone says fun, but it is a lot of fun, in fairness.
So one of the main words would be personal growth, because I definitely see myself grow. I'm definitely more aware of how important it is to communicate and just to be independent and to push yourself out of your comfort zone. The second would be fun. It was the most fun I've had in a long time. Just whenever you're away from home, it just allows you to be yourself, and no one at home is judging you. You can just make friends, you can wear what you want, you can do what you want, and it doesn't matter, nobody cares, you can just be yourself. And then the third would be eye-opening, because I just did not expect half the things that would happen, and it was eye-opening to learn about all the other cultures and make loads of friends, and just to get my way around France and learn French. There was just so many things I learned that you'd never learn in a classroom or being at home. Just so much more.